We're talking interestingly about eye care and the rolling out of the government's eye testing and spectacles program, which was launched about 2 weeks ago. And I've got with me Dr. Shailendra Sugrim, head of the Department Ophthalmology at the Georgetown Public Hospital. He's also advisor of vision and eye health at the Eye Health Service at the Ministry of Health. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. So quickly, tell us a bit about eye care, and I want to focus before we speak about the rolling out of the spectacles program, a bit about eye care, and especially as it relates to children. I mean, children will be off to holidays, so it's a good time now to grab them and take them to get their eye tests. But tell us about some of your observation in your line of work, some of the common issues, eye care issues with children.
Coincidentally, the commonest eye problem that children have is refractive errors, and that's the ability of the eye to focus on objects, whether far or near. And some of us may be born with an irregular shaped eye. Now, refractive errors refer to the ability of the eye to discern or to see things around us. And generally, the shape of the eye controls how the light enters the eye and how it's interpreted. And some of us may have that ability to focus on objects nearer, better than objects that are in the distance, and we call that nearsightedness or myopia. And some of us may see objects in the distance much better than objects near to us, and we refer to that as hyperopia or hypermetropia or farsightedness. Now there's a third condition called astigmatism. This has to do with the shape of the front part of the eye, which we call the cornea. It may not be as spherical or round as it should, and in such case it might be a little bit egg-shaped or like a football shape, and that will cause the rays of light to focus in different directions, and that where they may see objects with like lights around or maybe a little bit irregular at the edges, and that's called astigmatism. And all three of these conditions, myopia, hyperopia, astigmatism, is corrected with spectacles or contact lenses. The best or the easiest way to treat those conditions is with spectacles, and then we have our optometrists that will examine the kids and determine what type of refractive error they have. Now, with regards to children, and if you do not correct your refractive error at an early age with the spectacles, the child may end up having what we call a lazy eye or amblyopia, and that eye has a dull vision. It's not 20/20. It may become what we say semi-blind, or like maybe 20/60, 20/80. 20/20 is perfect, and that cannot be corrected later on in adulthood. So that child may live with the one eye not being perfect for the rest of their life, and that's why it's important for us to have the children have their eyes tested. Apart from refractive errors, you will find that children may have a few other not so common conditions such as cataracts, glaucoma. They have now and again they will have your small infections like conjunctivitis, and you also will have kids developing like small styes or cysts on their eyes, and then you also have some kids having allergic conjunctivitis. So primarily refractive errors, that's where the program is going to be concentrating on, the eye testing and spectacle vouchers in the age group of children less than 18. And that's why we're rolling out this program to detect these conditions at the early age.
Something which is maybe not that much common, but I have experienced a few people who've got a certain, and I don't know how to use the words, but blindness that runs in the family.
Yes, those conditions are not as common in our country, but we do have conditions such as glaucoma that can run in families. And then we also have another condition that is not so common also called retinitis pigmentosa. And then we have some conditions where they may have retinal degeneration. There's also another condition called toxoplasmosis chorioretinitis, where kids from at a young age, when they're playing with animals, they can contract this disease or infection with contact with animals, and that leaves a permanent scar on the eye, and that eye becomes technically blind because they're not able to see objects from that single eye. Usually it's in one eye, and the kids, you do not recognize it because they have the other eye and they're functioning normal. And then later on, as they get older, then they will visit the doctor, and then we'll discover that there's an old scar there. So those are some of the blindness conditions that we can.
I just got to hear, and as it relates to eye care, especially when we're traversing the road, lots of construction going on, and those people who are not in a vehicle, walking or riding, the eyes get exposed to a lot of, debris and all sorts of atmospheric substances. How can someone out there, without abusing, eye wash or home remedy, as the case may be, what can be steps taken to alleviate issues?
Yeah, ocular trauma is pretty common where it comes in Guyana because of violence. We have violence, and we have it, like you're saying, we have a lot of motor vehicle accidents. And then playing in wrong environment, you will encounter these allergens or foreign objects entering the eyes. You can also, so we have to prevent that. So we usually advocate to protect the eyes from sunlight, the harmful rays of the ultraviolet rays. So we can recommend the kids to wear their hats, protective hats, and you can give them sunglasses. To help protect the eyes. That gives like a protective barrier. And then also exposure to construction, dust, and allergens, and even pets can cause the allergic conjunctivitis, which can become worse later on, and that can cause corneal scars. You can also develop cataracts due to the treatment that they receive for this condition once it becomes out of control. So protection and having the eyes checked regular will help prevent a lot of these conditions.
Right. Now, come to the crux of the matter. The eye screening and spectacle program. How does it work? Walk us through. What happened?
So, over the past 2 to 3 years, the government has a testing program where we have at least 6 vision centers across the country where adults, everyone can access to have their eyes tested and screened for refractive errors and other eye conditions. And they have the low-cost spectacle program that are at these vision centers where they can gain access to spectacles as needed. And it's for the majority of persons can access these, and it's free of charge for the testing. So what the government has started its initiative now is to involve the private sector, so that patients have the options to have their spectacles or have their eyes tested at private opticals or centers, and they have provided the $2,000 eye testing voucher, which you can access these from across the region. There have many, if you check the Ministry of Health website, you have the list of the government sites that are providing these vouchers or distributing these vouchers. And once you have these vouchers, at the back of the vouchers, you will have the listed spectacles centers or optical centers where you can go to have your eyes tested. And once you have your eyes tested, the optical center will tell you whether you're good to go or whether you need a spectacle. And they will send you to collect the spectacle vouchers valued at $15,000, which you can redeem to have your glasses done. And this spectacle testing, eye testing and spectacle voucher program is geared towards children, persons less than 18 years or older, and adults 65 and above. So you can go and access these vouchers easily. But for the other groups of persons, you can access our vision centers or any of like the Port Morant Hospital or the Georgetown Hospital, where we do free testing for spectacles and where we can pick up eye conditions and then refer you for treatment as needed.
And Dr. Shailendra Sugrim, thanks a lot for being on our program this morning. We're talking about the government's eye testing and spectacles program. You can visit the Ministry of Health's Facebook page, and they've got information in all the regions where you can get spectacles or those vouchers for $2,000, and so you can get your eyes tested at your nearest eye testing center, private that is. So thanks a lot for being on our program.